Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast, where today we are joined by two very special guests. They will be joining us in Salem, Massachusetts this coming October for
What?
our special event.
Yeah.
Please welcome Jay and Ice themselves, Larry Bagby and Tobias Jelinek. Guys, thanks so much for joining us today. How you doing?
We are
Where's
excited
the
to be
applause?
here.
The applause sound. Can you make a
Well,
Oh,
Larry's
yeah.
still arriving. There we go.
yeah? Oh, we are happy to be here. I tell you what, and I'm happy to see Tobias. We chat on the phone pretty often, but we don't get to see each other like this.
No more than twice a day.
Yeah.
And of course, all we've been talking about lately is this rather phenomenal event that's coming to Salem, Massachusetts,
Yes. Have you
October
heard about
11th through 13th.
right?
Correct.
This is our first time being in Salem since we filmed Hocus Pocus. We've been talking about this for years. And of course, Jason, Omri, and Vanessa broke the seal last year.
Yes.
And that's all everyone, we've been doing conventions, and all anyone talks about is how much fun they had in Salem, Massachusetts last year. So
Yeah,
we're
indeed.
joining the party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and indeed we did last year. And you already stole one of my questions because I was one of my questions was last year when we did the event, I had asked Omri and Vanessa if they had ever been back to Salem before, and they hadn't either. And it really had
Wow.
blown my mind. And it's crazy to me that none of you guys have been back since that movie got filmed. It's just wild to me. But I guess so. I guess my first question is, this event, it'll be your first time back in Salem. I assume maybe you guys will make a trip to Marblehead as well to check out the infamous cemetery scene you guys filmed as well. But is there anything in particular you're looking forward to?
Oh man, for me, it'll be the fact that we're all going to be there together. Like Tobias said, we haven't been back, him and I, since we shot the movie. We were supposed to go back a couple of years ago when Amanda Shepard and Doug Jones went back with our agency, Cool Waters, um, and they did the tour with the fans, and we were supposed to be on the bus, and we were so bummed. We were both working, so that was a good thing,
Yeah.
but we were bummed that we couldn't be there. So it's coming full circle that we get to do it not just with each other going back, but also Jason, who played the voice of Binks, Jason Marsden, and Vanessa Shaw, who's Allison, and Omri Katz, who played Max. And we're gonna have a blast, huh? Are you looking forward to it, Tobias? Or I don't know if we're gonna be able to go in the limo like we did when we were in
We've got a
1992.
trolley this time, Larry.
A
We've got a
trolley.
trolley.
It
Yeah.
ain't no limo, son.
um, yeah. Well, it's also, this is different. It's very cool how this has been set up where it's really a celebration. It's kind of true to the spirit of Hocus Pocus, where it's just not going to do things the traditional way. It's not going to be a hit straight out of the gate. It waited 30 years to really come into its prime. And it's kind of rewriting what you can do with a convention. I mean, to be honest, Joe, I mean, I'm curious, like, I don't know of other films or shows that have taken over a town like this. And instead of just doing an autograph signing, we're looking at burlesque party and late night costume party. And then, of course,
We're doing
like,
a screening with live commentary.
fun stuff. And the trolley ride. So it's pretty interesting that it's truly a party. It's got a little bit of that Merry Pranksters, which is appropriate seeing as that Omri's weed business is the Merry Danksters.
Right.
So I see he's got his stamp on this. Yeah, should be.
Yeah, and you're so right, because you'll see it when you get here, but a huge reason tourists come into Salem is the Hocus Pocus movie
Wow.
now. It is absolutely insane. Ask Omri, ask Vanessa, ask Jason last year. I think even they were taken a bit aback when we did a Sunday. We had no events, so we ended up taking them on a filming location tour of some of the places they had filmed, and literally we had to keep them hidden because the amount of people in front of all of these filming locations
Wow.
is insane. Especially in October. Obviously, it's the biggest time of the year when the tourists really come in and overtake the city. And I think, and everyone will say it, I think over the last 10 years, especially, the tourism industry has blown up in the city. And honestly, I attribute it a big time to Hocus Pocus, because you walk around and you see everyone in their, Hocus Pocus themed shirts. You got, big female groups wearing their, Winnie and, all
Yeah.
the different witch shirts and stuff like that. It's like, you go to Disney World, you see Thing 1, Thing 2, or Universal, you see Thing 1, Thing 2. Instead, you see like Witch 1, Witch 2 with all the Sanderson sisters embossed on there and whatnot. So it's crazy. And like I said, the filming locations, especially obviously Rope's Mansion, which was where Allison's house in the movie, and then of course Max and Danny's house, which they actually it is in a residential neighborhood. They actually in October have to close the road down because of the amount of tourists that go down
Wow.
into this residential neighborhood to take pictures. So you guys will experience it,
Amazing.
obviously, especially when you do the trolley tour. You'll be able to see all of those filming locations. And I would love to try to get you guys out to Marblehead at some time too, so you guys can see. Do you have memories of filming, in Marblehead, or is it mainly the memories of Salem?
No,
So
Marblehead.
Marblehead was our first location, right, for us,
That's
Tobias?
the cemetery.
That's the cemetery. Yeah, that was our
That's the
our
memory.
very first thing. Yeah, we got the role and then rehearsed in Burbank in California, and then they sent us to Boston, and and that's where they picked us up in the limo and took us to our hotel, and then the next day we were out at that cemetery. So we actually have footage of that. So the memory is not just here, but I had a video camera. Tobias, tell them a little bit about that.
Oh, well, I mean, what's to say? It was the coolest. I saw this thing, and it was the newest, latest model of the high eight.
The Canon A1 digital. A1. That's A1. That's the
Yeah.
top at the time. And it's a pretty big camera. And
Yeah.
I just took it everywhere. Tobias and I have footage of us hanging out in the trailer, just goofing off in our wardrobe and eating food with all the cast at the craft service. And
But then also seeing Kenny work, don't you think? Like at first, we of course it was fun watching all of us kids, but what's been interesting lately is Larry would ask one of the parents or someone in the crew to hold the camera while we were filming, and so you see these multiple takes with Kenny directing us, and how good he was at keeping the energy up and also keeping our own natural energy relaxed, and so you get our vibes. It was really cool to see how, because he's a choreographer, and you really see that in the way he was handling the set energy and keeping everybody up. It was cool.
Let me ask, just because I have a tiny clip here of Kenny doing a little directing. I don't know if I pulled it up on my computer, if we could show that, or maybe we can send it to you.
Sure, yeah. It'd probably be easier maybe to send it to me. I mean, you could
Yeah.
try to show it on there, but it'd probably be easier to send it to me, then we can edit it in.
Yeah,
after the
yeah,
fact.
remind me, and I'll
Okay.
send you a little clip of that.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned the camera, Larry, because I heard, from a little birdie that you might be
Ooh.
giving a big treat to some of the fans who do attend this. It's just a bunch of Halloween weekend this October.
Yes, there might be a little sneak peek to that footage. We're trying to put something together for the fans that will be exclusive, and the first time anybody's seen it outside of probably Tobias and I and Jason now, and then a couple family members. But yeah, we've got some amazing footage. It's so fun to look back at that, and even footage of when I accidentally brought the camera out when the witches were filming in the house.
Wow.
And we were waiting for our scene. We're supposed to be up in the cages, but of course they're filming the witches first, so we're just sitting watching from the sidelines. But I have that camera, and all of a sudden, I point the camera towards Bette Midler, and I'm like, "Oh, this is a good shot." I'm zooming in, and I just feel this. I feel her just glancing up and looking into the camera, and she's with with Winifred, and I was already intimidated. And she's like, "What?" And what happened then, Tobias?
I don't know, because the camera started shaking
Oh.
and moved down, and it started to look a little like Blair Witch Project, and you made a beeline for the
That would have been
stage.
the
Yeah.
the Lair Witch Project.
And then a
But
cat
yeah.
jumped on the lens. It was crazy.
Oh, it
Yeah.
was nuts. And now we can't. That's the footage that we can't seem to find, and we
Which
think it's
so
been cursed.
Yeah, it's gone. We're on the hunt.
She had the people after us. Disney came and found it in my garage or something.
Apparently. Now, obviously, I mean, you guys still today, I think you could definitely feel the chemistry between you two guys. But I gotta ask, has the chemistry always been there? You know, had you guys known each other prior to meeting before filming, or was it just, you know, love at first sight?
Well, for me, I needed more testosterone, so that the chemistry was off until they gave me more testosterone. And
Which was me.
if you believe that, you believe anything. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
And then it just clicked.
It was it. That was it. I needed less what estrogen, more testosterone.
Now you know, Joe, I still remember the first time I met Larry. You got to bear in mind, this was my first film audition. I was a kid growing up in Santa Barbara, California, beach town, and a Disney scout had come to a play in a roundabout way. It led to this audition, going on the Disney lot, but I didn't even really have expectation because I wasn't in the scene. You know, so they had been looking all over the country, but then they did the callback, which was, in my memory, it was months later, like literally months later. I remember I'd spent the summer like cleaning grass out of the grout of my father's school. They were running a school in Santa Barbara. And I go into the room, and there's this guy. And they left us, the casting director, Doherty, like she left the room, and we were in there both very excited, and this guy hops down on the floor and starts doing breakdancing. Of course, was very big at the time. Starts doing a head spin, and that's when I knew, you know, I really like this guy. But we were just even having fun at that point. I mean, Larry, I don't know. For me, it's like wasn't even thinking about the job. Didn't really even know what to think about getting a job. He and I hit it off. We were just playing around, and that's what I mean. As soon as they left the room, we were already goofing off. You know, and they come back in, and we ran the scene, I feel like once or twice for their VHS camera. You know, and then we got the job. Yeah. And that was it. I mean, it was like from the get-go, and like that first cemetery scene, we had hung out in our hotel room, and we were improvising around it. We came up with, you know, the moment that made it in there where we played dumb as to not knowing LA, Los Angeles, you know, we wanted to add that, and Kenny said, go for it. So it's always been this.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun throwing back and forth, and we got to do it again a few years back for the E channel entertainment network, and it was so fun because we got to spend some time together, and we went to the park just down the way from NBC there, where we went to the E channel, and we rehearsed the scene again, and it was like it came right back, and it was so fun to do it as adults.
Well, that was funny because remember that park, it was actually right across the freeway there. It's the 134. That was 101 at that point. So it's 101, and on the other side is the Sheraton Universal Hotel, which is where they were putting me up when we were shooting Hocus Pocus. And it was also the same hotel where we had convinced my mother, because she was driving up from Santa Barbara, and Larry had just turned 18 when we were filming, and we convinced her to sign over legal guardianship to Larry.
Ah,
Pretty awesome.
yeah.
And that was so, it was funny. That was the hotel where all the shenanigans happened, and we were so it was very funny.
By the way,
Sorry.
Tobias, I do still have some of your per diem, the money they gave us daily, which I'll get back to you, I swear. I have some debt, and but as soon as I pay the debt, like maybe I'll do
Get
it
me in
over the
Salem.
next, I'll do it over the next 20 years. We'll just break it up.
Get me in Salem, and if not, there's enough spooky stuff to perhaps make it worth your while.
To what?
Do you have any cold feet? Yeah.
Are you talking to me, Tobias, like that?
Well, maybe, since you recreated a few years ago, but it wasn't in the actual cemetery. So I think we might need to get you guys out to Marblehead when you're here, and we can do it for real.
Oh wow.
That might be pretty cool.
Wow.
Now my next question, Hocus Pocus, obviously, it's become just an absolute, and as this actually is a perfect segue into my question, because we have a Billy Butcherson, merchandise in the background here. But my question is, it's become such a cultural phenomenon over the last 30 years. And obviously it didn't start that way, but it just seems to get bigger and bigger and bigger every single year, where especially, in October, but even not in October now, the merchandising has just gone insane on this movie. So my question is, do you guys ever, you'll be out shopping in the mall, in the store, and you see this, and I know you see it, this Hocus Pocus merchandise, do you ever sort of look, take a moment, reflect, and be like, wow, like, this is huge, and I was a part of it?
It still surprises me, seeing stuff out there, and it's what's on my agenda is the only thing that we don't have is a Funko.
Yes.
I want a Funko. We want a Funko. Our Funkos should be together.
I love it. Yeah.
Anyway, no, it is really cool, and even they're re-releasing the movie again, October 18th in theaters, not just in the States, but apparently in Canada here as well. So that's pretty exciting to know that this movie that was such a sleeper has grown to now. It was, I think last year was in the top 10 in the box office when they released it in the theaters again, which is pretty cool that it finally kind of made its way, and that people would go out and actually see it in the theaters again when they have it on VHS, Blu-ray, 4K, Laserdisc, whatever it be, So it's pretty phenomenal. I'm blown away by it, and I'm grateful to be a part of it for sure.
Yeah, I like seeing Larry's collection.
Yeah.
Larry, it is really. I mean, I really do have to say, I'm jealous of how much he's like. He really appreciates, and it's so phenomenal. That's how we all need to be in life.
I've got one for you.
Done, all the lessons.
I got two every time. So Tobias, I've been collecting for you too. I just don't know if you have room for in storage for them, but you've got it all too. We've got two of everything.
Yeah. Now, Larry, do you like go out, and when you see stuff, do you pick it up, or is that sent over by fans, or is it a mixture of both?
It's a mixture of both. Like, speaking of which, remember these, Tobias? How cool those?
Yeah, that's cool. That's actually the one thing I kept. I really dig that. Yeah,
this guy. Anybody should check this.
Super cool.
This dude out.
They do. Yeah, and they can do custom heads too. They do really cool stuff.
He made these for us, and then there was this other really wonderful fan that the night before he was at the con, and he said, I'm gonna make you a Lego tonight. And he went back and he made this incredible Lego. Like, he just made it and just gave it to me. I was like, that is too cool. So those are cool. I guess it's just just in case Funko wants an idea of what these might. And then the other stuff, man, I try to pick up stuff and collect it. The one thing I don't have, well, there's a lot of things I probably don't have with Hocus Pocus merchandise, but is the Lego. Lego
Oh, the
house,
Lego set. Yes.
which is pretty cool. Kind of a bummer that we're not in there, but we are apparently, because there's cages with little skeletons in there, and we
Okay.
assumed that those were our skeletons sitting in the cage.
That's
So,
actually it's a good segue actually in to my next question. Actually, speaking of the skeletons in the cages, because a lot of fans, they had hoped to see you guys back. Obviously, they had hoped to see all of the legacy characters back for Hocus Pocus 2, which unfortunately we didn't get. And I'm just saying this. I think Disney dropped the ball by not bringing any of you guys back for that movie. But a lot of fans theorized that you were still possibly in your cages, chilling out, maybe in skeleton form. Maybe you somehow were getting fed by someone after all these years. So I got to ask you guys, where do you think Jay and Ice are today? Did they escape those cages? Are they still in them? Where are they at?
well, according to the 25th anniversary, right, Tobias, we finally get out of our cages. I don't know if y'all saw the Freeform. It was a tribute to kind of it was for the fans, and we did it at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery for
Yeah,
the
Larry,
25th
don't
anniversary.
come on. What happened to Ice? What did you become?
Something really great. I became what did I become? A cop.
A cop. Okay.
You were. I think you became a principal, according to one of those Hocus
For some
Pocus
reason, that
books.
book gets a lot of credit. That
Aaron Wallace. Yeah, he sent.
Wallace, people talk about it a lot, and people like what he came up with in terms of yeah. Oh, you have it.
You just asked what
He's got it
merchandise do you
all.
need, man.
Yeah.
I got it all. What do you got? I got
Have you seen
watches.
that
I
book,
got
Joe?
drugs.
I've not seen this book actually.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you have now.
Funny.
Son.
Thora Birch wrote the intro, right?
Oh,
Or the
cool.
foreword.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And in fact, even the book that just came out, the oral history. Tobias, did you get your copy?
I did.
Dude, I'm reading it. I went through and just read our parts first, and she picked some great. I mean, I'm sure there was an editor involved, but she picked some really great little segments that of our conversation. And she also talks about this book, Aaron Wallace. So check that book out too. But also check out the oral history. Shannon Carlin, is that her last name? You remember, Tobias?
I'm not 100% on the last name cover. I think so.
Hers is her Instagram's like New Girl on. But anyway, check out that book because it tells the whole history. All of us were interviewed. The cast, the crew, the writers, the writers that were on and off the film. It really goes into it, and you get some really great details to how that all came about.
Very awesome. I'll have to ask Brian, because he is handling some of the vendors that are going to be at your autograph signing, and I believe he did say one of the authors of one of the new books is going to be there.
I think Shannon is coming for.
Oh,
that.
cool.
Yeah, Jason. I think Jason connected with her on that.
Very cool. Yeah, so everyone that's coming, you'll be able to pick up that book that you just heard about.
That's the book, and Shannon Carlin. Yeah,
Shannon Carlin.
Okay.
The oral history. Very cool.
It's so cool. It is so cool.
Awesome. Now, being
like cool as ice.
Cool as ice. Did you have any hesitations about having ice shaved in the back of your head, or was
yes
were you down for it the whole time? You did.
As a matter of fact,
did you keep it?
I did not. I replaced it with a bald spot.
Joe, if you know any barbers,
hey,
a cool barbershop in town.
I know a perfect barbershop that would do it.
Okay, he's up for it. Larry will do it.
Listen, there's rumors. I don't know if can we talk about this yet? There's rumors that I don't know if you know, but not Tobias, but Omri, after he acted for years, he went away from that, and he was a hairstylist. Yeah, and we're talking about maybe because I stole the cross trainers, and to make it up to him, maybe I'll let him shave ice in the back of my head on stage
Wow.
at the screening or the party or something, and maybe even offer, if somebody wants to jump up and join the ice gang, that maybe he would do some of the fans and donate to charity.
Very
That's what we're
awesome.
thinking.
That'd be
So,
amazing. Yeah, I think the screening would be probably the perfect place for that, because we are.
Cool.
I mean, screening's going to be. It's at a massive theater right outside of Salem and Beverly. Tickets are almost sold out, folks. So if you haven't already, you're hearing about all this special stuff that's going to be there for that. So do not hesitate. We are, I think, at almost 80% sold out of that. So definitely
Wow.
grab your tickets, because it'll probably be sold out within the next before October. So I would definitely jump on that if you haven't already, guys.
Tobias, you should tell him about the bet I lost with you last year.
Which one?
Where I told you if you won, I would shave ice in the back of my head again.
Number one, I have already shared this with you, Larry. I was joking.
What?
But you did show up to Niagara Falls with ice.
What do you mean that was a joke?
I've already said this because I have no reason to feel good. Yeah, there's like no reason I need to feel good.
Well, I need to speak with my lawyers ASAP, because some of that it's still there. It did not fade. It still won't grow back.
Larry,
I have a hairpiece there now.
Yeah.
So thanks.
It just got a little like CE, I think, right? Just still.
Yeah. Maybe I should put L in front of that. That would be lice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're talking to barbers, and I guess we're gonna have to talk to some lawyers too now.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll get you that money, man. I swear.
Bigger. Yeah.
Now, obviously, here being a horror podcast, I have a very simple horror themed question for you guys. Well, first off, did you guys even know? Because I don't know, like, when you guys got involved in the script process for this, or when you did your readings, but Mick Garris wrote the screenplay for this movie, and it was originally supposed to be a horror movie.
Yeah.
When you guys had read the script, did you get to read that script at all, or was it already sort of Disney-fied by that point?
No, I think Neil Kuber, I think that's his name. He came in and punched it up and added our characters to bring a little comedy to the mix. And I know at one point, and we talked about this before, but that while Kenny was doing, Disney was doing some of the test screenings, they pulled it because there was, there's only so much time. They wanted the film to be an hour and a half. And so they pulled our scenes completely, and I guess it didn't test as well, or people seemed to like the comic relief of whatever the bullies brought to the story. But that was nice, because you never know if you're going to end up in a film or not when they're filming. Could end up on the cutting room floor.
Also David Kirshner, who's involved in Child's Play.
Yes.
So you've got an interesting pairing there with Mick Garris.
He's a registered offender?
Well,
Oh, the movie. Make sure you clear that up.
Yeah, clear that one up. Yeah.
Chucky.
Oh, Chucky. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so go ahead. I'm sorry, Tobias. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, we're making just a horror connection there, Larry.
Yes.
Oh, I appreciate the horror connection. Thank you so much, Tobias. We'll give you a call. Thanks.
Now, to go with the horror connections, I got to ask you guys, are you guys fans of the genre? And if so, can you give us maybe a couple of your favorites, or maybe a hidden gem you think perhaps the listener should check out?
For me, Lilo and Stitch and Little Mermaid freaked me out a little.
Perfect.
Tobias, are you a horror fan? I think we've talked a little bit about
I
this.
have a 10-year-old
classics, right?
10-year-old, and we really, and it's fascinating when you go back to those archetypal Universal films and saw how much they were able to do, with imagination, but also the stories. Like, I mean, how much of that has just been repeated time and again. But to this day, some of it they simply did better in some, so I do go, just when they were the ingenuity, and I've worked quite a bit with a wonderful effects makeup artist named Ed French, who, was Oscar nominated for Star Trek and has worked on a bazillion different films and shows, and it's so great when you get to talk to some of these people that were really involved at the beginning of when you were creating horror, and they're dealing with the cotton balls and the glue, and just we still so many horror fans and I think it's also what we see at conventions. There's something when it's raw and with that aspect of childhood as well, like how you can create something horrific on your own. So I do have to say, I'm a big fan of practical. I'm a really big fan, because I think that the more we go into the CG, it's just also for kids or people who are discovering the genre to feel connected to it, and to know, so that it becomes like something you're doing under your fort with a flashlight in your bedroom with friends, accessing those stories, because we're storytellers. So I like those archetypal films that remind us what we're watching for and what it can do.
Agreed, 100%.
I personally, I'm not huge on the horror films, but I appreciate like suspenseful kind of little jump scare movie type stuff. I'm not crazy about all the bloody gory stuff, but of course I love like some of the classics as well, Dracula and all the early creep monster movie stuff.
You had a pretty bloody gory death in this new Kevin Costner film.
Oh,
true that. Yeah, you just saw it, right, Tobias?
I did. Really enjoyed. Yeah.
Did you enjoy watching me
I enjoyed watching
get my head blown off? Spoiler alert.
Spoilers, yeah.
Well, it was more than that. You guys were I mean, I like that whole beginning, that whole first 2/3 of that film. I really, really enjoy. I mean, I thought Kevin was fantastic. I think Costner was great in it. And I love that. Who's the actor from Stranger Things?
Yeah, Jamie Campbell.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, he plays
Phenomenal.
Vector. He's incredible.
Was he Vecna? Yeah. Right? Did he play Vecna in Stranger Things? That's great.
Yeah, he's great actor, and that movie had it's got quite the list of stars. I definitely got buried in that, but I was grateful to be a part of it, and kind of a significant part in the first hour of the movie. The first hour of I think it's probably what 10 hours or maybe 11 hours. I don't know. I don't know how long the second one, I think, is close to 3 hours as well. So I'm not sure if the third one's coming. They're saying there's talk of it not now. I'm not sure. So
I hope it does. You really do have to applaud Kevin Costner. It's refreshing when we see someone like also put their own resources into a vision that he's had for so many years. I mean, he had to, he had Yellowstone, I think, had to happen.
Yeah.
But he's like, I can still do it.
Yeah, and he was great to work with. Such a nice and gentle, and he's an actor's director, so he encouraged us to just do stuff. Like, it's not in the script, but he's like, I mean, you're in this scene. What are you gonna do? Go do something. Grab the thing or do something. What would you do? So we all got going, and then they extended our scene for another 3 weeks. Oh. So we were glad that happened. Tobias, you were recently working on something. Are you able to talk about what you just recently worked on? You were in Vancouver for that.
Vancouver. It's just a new NBC show, The Hunting Party. It'll be nice and twisted. Kick it off. I'll be starting the show.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And you were a part of that Obliterated that the Cobra Kai guys did as well, right?
Cobra Kai guys, yeah.
Yeah, you've been working a ton. Tobias is I enjoy watching his work. I love when he pops up a lot of guest star and TV stuff and a lot of films still, and I'm happy to see he's still out there and very it just gets better and better, man. I love it.
Well, you're a little too far away, brother. All the way out.
Yeah, we'll be together soon enough.
Luckily, his fiance is ready to move to Los Angeles, so I think she'll act this way.
He loves LA. We're talking about, he's coming up. I don't know if I should mention, but the big 4-0 in February, and I think we might come out come out
Nice.
there for her birthday. And
All
so,
right, Joe.
but I'll see you. Hopefully, I'll see you before then. But we'll see you in Salem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Joe, what's your favorite horror film? Do you have it? Can you
Yeah,
pinpoint one?
I do. Yeah, I pinpointed The Shining. The Shining's
Oh, yeah.
my all-time favorite. It was actually on AMC last night. I was watching it last night.
Uh,
You know, it's like every time it's on, I gotta stop. I gotta watch it. Just the
Yeah.
performances in that movie. Rest in peace, Shelley Duvall. We just lost her this year, just not too long ago. But man, both the performances in that movie. And it's funny because literally I just interviewed Vanessa last week, and we had a very lengthy talk about Stanley Kubrick because she worked with Kubrick.
Oh,
On
Eyes Wide Open.
Shut.
Eyes
Yeah.
Wide Shut. Yeah.
Yeah. So she had a
Wow.
some really great stories with Kubrick. But yeah, Kubrick, he really did some, I think, amazing things with that movie. And I find it so funny that Stephen King hated his interpretation of The Shining. So, and I find it to be just better than the source material in a lot of ways. So yeah, but that's that, and then I go with The Exorcist probably as my number two. Those are kind of the top two that really I think molded
Cool.
me into the horror fan I am
Yeah.
today. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you guys kind of stole my last question there with all the promotion stuff. But before we wrap this up, I got to ask you, is there anything? I know you mentioned a couple of those projects there, but is there anything else you guys have in the works, or where can our listeners follow you guys for updates?
Well, I've got a movie that is doing some film festivals right now. It just got into the Twin Cities Film Fest that's happening in October 24th. They're screening the movie I did called Band on the Run. It's a great independent film. We've already got distribution options, but we're just waiting to finish the festivals and see what else comes along. But that will be out hopefully by the beginning of next year, and I get to play a really fun role. I'm in a wheelchair. I have MS, and my son is lives in Detroit and is in a band around the late 1990s. It's kind of based on a true story that the director and writer of the film about his own life. And basically, they take their sick dad on the road, so that it's just the band and the sick dad on the road while they go to Austin city limits or Austin music festival to try to get a record deal. And him and the son connect on a new level because he finds out that his dad was a drummer and had aspirations to be a musician. And so it's pretty cool film. And then I have also from my new album, one of the songs from that is in the film called Breakdown Breakthrough.
Very cool.
So that's the most recent. Tobias?
This is really great. And where can people find you? Instagram, Larry Bagby?
Oh, well, yeah, that works. Larry Bagby, larrybagby.com, Cagby. And yours is Tobias Jelinek, right?
Yeah.
Spelled J.
Oh, I don't have, is my name not popping up? Probably not.
Yeah, Tobis,
Okay.
Tobias, Jelenek.
No.
Jelinek.
Yeah. Jelinek.
Mouse.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because it just popped up on Netflix. They moved Mayfair Witches.
Oh, that's
which
great.
we kicked that show off and people are loving that. So it's with the Alexandra Daddario, and this just came to Netflix. It's an interesting thing with Netflix for some shows, because that had been a couple years ago and this was AMC, but now it's over. And so it's getting a lot of play and a lot of people are noticing it. It's worth checking out. It's so easy now.
So that's such a great character.
Is that Anne Rice? Is that Anne Rice?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah. Nice.
So you check it out. Yeah, that's fun. That literally just came up a few weeks ago. And then this serial killer I play on the NBC show. I don't know when it'll be 2025 when that comes up, but I'll hopefully stay up on Instagram. So keep in touch with us there.
How many serial killers have you played here, Tobias?
My goodness, they're just fun a lot of the time. you
And
know? Yeah.
does this come from, how do you study for a role like that?
It's all in the imagination.
Oh, yeah.
It-
I loved you in it was the NCIS, the
Which
LA.
one?
Was that the
LA?
one where it was the opening season last year or the year before?
Oh,
Where
and
the carnival, the
oh, that's CSI. Yeah.
CSI.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many, Joe. There's
Love
so.
that.
I mean, the funny thing is with NCIS, I had such a great monopoly moment once I had done every NCIS. And
That's
guess what? I got in before they shut it down because it's done. It quit after 2 seasons, so got in.
got
Yeah.
in. Nice.
Well, this has been fun.
Oh my
This is
God, so much fun, and like so
Yeah.
many questions like popped up while you guys were talking, but I'm not gonna leave you here all day. I could talk to you guys all day though. But everyone, if you want to come hang out with Larry and Tobias and some other of our friends from Hocus
Yeah.
Pocus, of course, Omri Katz, Vanessa Shaw, and Jason Mars. If you want to meet all 5 of them, you got to come out to It's Just a Bunch of Halloween weekend, October 11th through the 13th in Salem, Massachusetts. Tickets are still on sale for a couple of the events, the party and the screening, and then the meet and greet. We are sold out the trolley tour and the burlesque show. I know the screening is going to sell out probably within the next couple weeks. So definitely grab your tickets if you haven't already. Head to it's just a bunch of Halloween.com.
Also, sorry, just to let
Sure.
you know that Tobias and I will both be putting a discount code out there for I think it's for what do we have
The
tickets
party.
left for? The party.
Yeah.
So look for that. You'll get 20% off if you put in either one of our codes, which I think mine is it's just a bunch of ice. Go figure. I think yours is going to be it's just a bunch of Tobias or just a bunch of Jay or just a bunch of you, baby.
Well, for our listeners, you can use the code Bunch of Horror Squad 2024, and you can get 20%
Boom.
off
There you
that
go.
way
Do
as
that.
well. Yes. So definitely come and join us. Larry, Tobias, once again, thank you so much for joining us on the show today, and we'll see you guys in just a few short weeks.
Wow.
All
Yes.
right.
See you guys there.